All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Eureka Fire Protection District. We're gathered here really with everyone, over 20 agencies across 3 counties, to discuss the urgency of the issues we're having on the waterways here in the metropolitan area, and coming together to really try to make a concerted effort to make those waterways safer. So we have a number of speakers that will be coming up, and then at the end you have the opportunity to do one-on-one and see some of the equipment that the agencies use to help when we do rescues and recoveries there. So we'll begin with Chief Brown from Eureka Fire Protection District. Eureka Fire Protection District, talking about the collaborative effort of working together.
Represented here today are the agencies that respond to these emergencies on our waterways, our rivers, our ponds, and our lakes. And these agencies respond together to these emergencies on these popular destinations when they happen. And we've had an alarming number of emergencies already this year. We come together to respond to these emergencies, and today we're coming together to alert everyone to the amount of these emergencies that are happening, and asking everybody to work together to lessen the number of these emergencies and exercise caution as we move forward.
Thank you, Chief Brown. We next have Corporal Justin Wheatley from the Missouri Highway Patrol, representing the Highway Patrol and the Marine Operations Unit.
All right, I got some few statistics, but first off, we all know why we're here. We've had several drownings, especially in this last month. As of right now, we're sitting at 11 drownings in Troop C. We've had 9 since May 1st in Troop C, just within 11 counties. We've got 5 Marine officers that patrol 11 counties and hundreds of miles of waterways. So I want to give the shout out to them. These guys have been running their butts off out there trying to make our waterways as safe as possible. And with all these guys behind me, we really want to get the message out about water safety. So for a comparison, in 2020, we had 12 drownings for the entire year for Troop C. We had, okay, we're good. We had 14 in 20, just a second.
Give it a second.
It'll go off. Hold on. All right, we're good?
Yes, sir.
All right, fantastic. So in 2019, we had 14 drownings in Troop C, and in 2018, 11. So like I said, we're at 11 right now, and we're only a little over halfway through June. So we're on track to have a lot more. We don't want that. So with our guys out on the waterways, we're trying to really promote the safety. What we've seen is a lot of risky behavior. A lot of alcohol has been a major factor in this, as well as not wearing a life jacket and people overestimating their swimming abilities. Rivers are relentless. They do not discriminate. They don't care who you are. If you're not a good swimmer, you do not need to be on the river swimming. Our dive teams are out helping out, and they've been working their butts off as well throughout the entire state. We've had 28 drownings already in the state of Missouri that we've responded to. The Highway Patrol, we would like to thank everybody for working with us. We're asked by the Coast Guard to report all drownings that occur in the state of Missouri to the Coast Guard so they can help keep track of that. And by working with these guys, they allow us to get in there to complete our investigations so we can get those numbers to them as quickly as possible. So if they see anything that could be an issue, we can all work together to address that issue. So right now, we're all here together, working together. You can see this great group of people, and we're trying to get this message out. Stay off the rivers, wear your life jacket. Let's work together to try to save lives and not have any more drownings, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Chief Mike Rouse from Metro West Fire Protection District.
Thank you. One of the things to keep in mind about the problems we're having today with the drownings, the rivers in the area are really inviting looking. They're deceiving. They look peaceful, and for people that are trying to have a great day of recreation, it's easy to understand why somebody might venture into the river. But I think we need to raise awareness about what is in the river. So what you see is the top of the river. What you don't see is what's underneath the top of the water. And the reality is that changes on a sometimes daily basis. Every time there's a major flood, there's more obstruction and change in topography. So what that change in topography does, it creates different kinds of currents. So in many cases, a young person especially will be out wading in a river without a life jacket on, and they get to a point where the water level gets up above their belly button or so, and the current begins to move them, and they can't control that, right? At that point in time, they may end up in a place that's deeper than they are tall. And if they don't have good swimming skills, they're probably going to drown. If they do have good swimming skills, they might try to outswim this thing, and what they do commonly is swim up the current to try to come back to the place they were, and that doesn't ever work out very well. So one of the common misconceptions also is a drowning person in Hollywood on a movie splashing, yelling, "Help me, I'm drowning." The reality is drowning in its last moments is a very silent event, because your body your brain has trained your body that it needs to breathe. So you don't have time to yell. You don't have the oxygen or the breath to yell. So when you see someone, one of the common last things a drowning person does is bob from the top to the bottom of the water. So you see the top of their head, then their mouth, they get a breath, and they go down again. And then they go down for good. So when these things happen and these people drown in these rivers, we show up with a dive team. The vehicle behind me is a dive rescue unit that houses all the equipment for our divers. And our divers, when they go into these river situations, it's a high-risk operation always. And we take it very seriously. Many times, most times, it becomes a recovery, meaning the victim, is not going to be rescuable, not going to be revivable. And so we take that recovery very, very seriously. And we want to add dignity to that recovery. And there's a difference between having someone die in a family and having someone lost. And we think that if we can get that person back, at least give that family closure, that's worth something. So that's why you'll see us do dive operations from one day into the next. That's why that makes sense to us. So with that, I would say that we would ask that you listen to the people that talked to you today here at this press conference, and they're going to have some tips for you coming up right behind me. I think we're going to hear about some things you can do as a parent, as a swimmer, as a person, as a good citizen. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next is Interim Fire Chief Ramona Kaminsky from the Fenton Fire Protection District.
So just like CPR, car seats, seatbelts, life jackets save lives. You know, when we're getting ready to do an activity on the water, we should be getting a life vest just as important as we would be getting sunscreen. Those are important items we need to have. Life vests, when worn properly, it'll hold an individual up their top half, their head above water, and allow us to breathe. You know, we know that children need to wear them. We know inexperienced swimmers should wear them, but we all need to take an effort towards water safety. And there are things we can all do. You know, when we have life vests, we need to make sure that they fit, just not on. You could check in the chest to see if chest has what dimensions are on it, as well as weight. When they're buckled up and ready to go, you can even check real quick. If you put your arms up and you grab the straps, if it goes above the ears, chances are that vest is too big, so it will fall off. One of the other things is if you're going in the water, we want to utilize the buddy system. We shouldn't be doing things alone. As it was said by one of the chiefs before me, you know, we need to stay within our abilities of swimming. You know, we're all not going to be excellent swimmers. So we need to be cautious where we are and know where we are in the river. And most importantly, we really need to look out for each other. There should be eyes on everybody every time you're on the water, because it does change rapidly, and everybody needs to be very attuned to everybody in the water and keep doing head counts. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, as you see, there's a large gathering of agencies across the metropolitan area here to promote water safety. We want to stop the drownings. We want to get the message out. We would much rather spend the effort and time to keep people safe than respond to these calls. What we're going to do now is we'll welcome some questions, and then we'll have a breakout where you can please speak to any of the first responders that are up here. They all have stories. They all have advice for you. In addition to that, we have some other community partners here. Lisa from the Swim On Foundation, Lori from Safe Kids, and then Amanda from the Corps of Engineers that also have valuable information. But as first responders here in the St. Louis metropolitan area, the three counties that here, Jefferson, Franklin, and St. Louis County, we urge you to be safe out on these riverways, and we will all stand together. So. All right. So just for everybody to have on record as well, Greg, G-R-E-G, Brown, common spelling, Fire Chief, Eureka Fire Protection District. Justin, J-U-S-T-O-N, Wheatley, W-H-E-E-T-L-E-Y, Corporal, Missouri State Highway Patrol. Mike, M-I-K-E, Kraus, K-R-A-U-S-E, Fire Chief, Metro West Fire Protection District. And Ramona, R-O-M-O-N-A, Kaminsky, K-A-M-I-N-S-K-I, Interim Fire Chief, Fenton Fire Protection District. And I'm Scott Barthmas, S-C-O-T-T, Barthmas, B-A-R-T-H-E-L-M-A-S-S, Eureka Fire Protection District. So again, we're welcome to take questions. It's probably more beneficial to speak to the responders are here. Dive team has equipment out. Water Patrol, or excuse me, the Highway Patrol's Marine Operations has their boat here. Eureka has our boat here as well. But talk to the men and women that are here. They have stories. Stories that we hope will help get the message out. As Chief Kraus says, the rivers, the waterways, they look very inviting, but they're very dangerous beasts. So thank you for your time today. Any questions, please don't hesitate.
I have a quick question about the stats. You said 11 drownings before this year in Troop C. In 2019, I think it was 14 drownings. I missed 2020.
2020 we had 12.
12, okay.
12 drownings. And in 2018 we had 11
Okay.
in Troop C.
We've covered the drownings. Has there been any rescues over this period, or have they all ended up, as Chief Kraus said, unfortunately becoming recovered?
I could address that.
Yeah, I think.
I think that the rescues that happen, in most cases, we don't hear about. And that's because someone is paying attention, someone yells out. When someone is first swept away, if they're swept away by current, and they have the wherewithal to yell before they actually begin to drown, someone can throw them something or help them by trying to reach for them. That happens when there's life jackets or throw cushions around, and those aren't always around. That's one of the big points that the people up here made today, was the personal flotation devices, and certainly something that you could throw to somebody in need. But I don't think that we know about all the quote unquote near misses. We don't get those stories as much as we do after a tragedy already happens.
Have you had any since May 1 that you're aware of? Anyone? I know we said 9 drownings since May 1, and it's crazy that it's that high. I just wondered if...
Yeah, I think I speak for everybody, but I don't think we've had any rescues. And as Chief Kraus says, we with many of our risk reduction programs and that, we don't hear the successes, right? And our goal here is to make those successes, to make it a success by keeping people safe before they even get in the water. But unfortunately, we've seen too much already this summer, and we're just in the beginning of summer of people drowning, and we want to stop that. People of all ages from across the entire metropolitan area, and it needs to stop.
Right, and the point being is that it seems that so often it's already too late. You know, it's people got to realize that if you get into that bad situation, the chances for a good outcome may already be gone.
And Andy, that's the purpose in us coming together, right? And us standing here united. I don't think you've seen in a long time this many people stand united on a topic and saying, hey, as Ramona said, make sure to have that life jacket. Make sure, life jacket. Make sure that think ahead. We tell people to plan ahead all the time, but again, it looks very inviting. It looks very serene and that on the water, but it's very dangerous.
Maybe someone can talk about what it's, when you get that call, when you get out there, and when it dawns on you, like, okay, it's probably a recovery effort. No one trains in the hopes that they're going to be recovering people with dignity. I mean, the idea for you guys, and I'm sure what everyone's gotten into this line of work for, is to save lives. What does that do to you when you go out to that river or waterway and you have to pull a body out?
And I'll speak to the general subject. We're all here to help, right? I think everybody, if you look back to when we got on, that when we're asked that question, why are we here? We're here to help. Education's key right now in helping and preventing. High risk chief or Chief Kraus, if you want to, with your dive teams, if you want to speak to the recovery effort and how we do that to make sure it's dignified and help the family bring closure. Or
No, and Andy, we would love it if we had more rescues, but timing being what it is, it's less likely to have happen. But the dive, when you talk about diving, when most people think of diving, they think about pretty fish and coral reefs, and the diving that is happening in the context today is in black water that they have zero visibility most of the time, and so it is it's something that. That it's not for everybody, and the divers we pay attention to how they're doing, because they're doing things that really most human beings don't do, and that would be finding a person that's dead under the water. But I think they understand the importance of it. And there are some cases in which a cold water incident, for example, where you could actually retrieve somebody from that situation, and maybe they'd be a viable patient, maybe. But in most of the cases, especially this time of year, in the responses that we have, it's not.
Thanks, Chief. So at this point, we're gonna draw the press conference to an end, the formal conference, and we really encourage you to speak to the members that are up here and hear their stories. And everybody has tips and has things that can offer you. But we are really here together to make the St. Louis metropolitan area safer and make our waterways safer and keep people from drowning. So thank you guys. And then, like I said, many opportunities to speak with so many great professionals that have stories to help people safe. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.